Hi, welcome to the British Culture Club, a blog, podcast and videos exploring British culture. If you're planning to live, work or study in the UK, if you're working with British companies, we'll help explain some of the mysteries of British culture, the customs and the English language. If you're a regular listener, you'll know that there is a text version of this podcast that accompanies the audio. You'll find the link to the British Culture Club homepage in the show notes. Head over to our homepage and you'll find the online magazine for this episode, as well as the podcast where you can read the text as you listen. Hi everyone. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the British Seaside. We have a number of different interviews in this episode, talking to people with families and young people about the seaside, their memories of the seaside as children, and what they do when they go now. We'll start off with Rosanna talking to Jane.
Hi everyone, so this week's issue is the British Seaside. My colleague Jane is at the seaside currently, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about where she is at the moment.
Hi Rosanna, yep, I'm here in Salcombe, which is a small fishing village in South Devon in the southwest of England. It's about 3 hours from London.
Lovely. And the weather is looking excellent for anyone that thinks we don't get sunshine.
It's about 22 degrees here today, which is perfect for the British seaside.
Fantastic. So let's get started with some questions. Could you tell me in 3 words or more, how would you describe the British seaside?
Okay, for me, the British seaside is ice creams, definitely ice creams. Mm-hmm. It is sand in your sandwiches when you're eating your picnic on the beach. And it's enjoying the beach, whatever the weather, because sometimes we do have to take our raincoats and our umbrellas, but we still have lots of fun.
That's very true. Whatever the weather, we enjoy our time at the seaside. And why do you think people enjoy visiting the seaside, apart from what you mentioned?
I think it's the change of scene. I think for me, the sea, the fresh air, the blue skies, the breeze, all of that contributes to a real feel of being on holiday. And I think that's what people enjoy.
Yeah, I think people really like feeling like they've escaped their normal routine, and the seaside always helps to give that feeling that you're on holiday, even if it is a little bit rainy.
Yeah.
So what activities would you recommend someone could do at the seaside if they're visiting?
Okay, so for me, the perfect beach day is to pack up your picnic, take a picnic blanket, you've got to take a bucket and spade, and you definitely need a ball. And you go and you sit on the beach, you have your sandwiches, you watch the world go by, and then you play a game of catch or beach cricket or beach rounders. And if you're very lucky, you might even end with a barbecue on the beach at the end of the day.
Lovely, very nice.
And don't forget the ice cream.
Yes, ice cream is very important, isn't it? Wherever you might be at the seaside, whatever the weather, you've got to have your ice cream. So you're in Salcombe, like we mentioned earlier. Tell us a little bit more about the town there and what you can do there and how you experience it as a local.
Yeah, sure. So this is a Victorian fishing village. So the main industry is still the fishing boats, actually. Salcombe is very famous for its crab. So the fishing boats go out daily and catch the crab. Because it's so beautiful, it's become a tourist destination. You can see that we've got sparkling water there. So we do all the water sports, that's sailing, surfing, paddleboarding, canoeing, windsurfing, even some water skiing. And we've also got the sandy beaches. So that's where you can play and make your sandcastles and dig holes. We always say, are you digging to Australia? If you dig a really deep hole. And I don't know if you can see, but we've got beautiful coastline out to the ocean. I don't know if you can see it there. So there are some stunning walks, and you can just go and see the sea, breathe it in. And also, don't forget the fish and chip shops.
Yes.
You can't come here and not visit the fish and chip shop.
Exactly. Fish and chips are our iconic national dish wherever you are, but even taste even better at the seaside.
We always think they taste better when they're served in newspaper and you can hear the seagulls. But you have to watch those seagulls because they can steal your chips even when you're eating them.
That is a top tip, to watch out for those seagulls. Well, thank you so much. And we're all convinced we want to come down there now. But are there any other seaside towns you would recommend that people should visit?
Yeah, sure. So for those of you who love surfing, I suggest you go to the North Cornwall coast for the waves. For those of you who are interested in geology and dinosaurs, I love a visit to the Jurassic coast along Dorset, where you can walk along the shingle beach, not the sand, and look for fossils. And if you're more into arcades and amusement parks, then I would head to Weston-super-Mare, or even further north, Southport or Blackpool. That would be my top tips.
Well, those are great tips, Jane. Thank you so much for joining us from the beautiful seaside there. And we encourage anyone and everyone to visit the British seaside because it truly is beautiful. So thank you so much, everyone.
So that was Jane talking about how she and her family spend time at the seaside. I've got a group of young people with me here today who are going to tell us about their experience of the seaside as a child and their most recent experience of the seaside.
I remember going to the seaside for a school trip when I was younger. We went to Bude in Cornwall, and I remember learning to surf. I was very bad at it, but it was still fun. And also eating a huge amount of fudge. Yeah, and so much so that I felt sick.
And what about your most recent experience? When did you last go to the seaside?
I last went to the seaside last week, actually. I went to Pembrokeshire in Wales. It's really nice. Really vast expanses of sandy beaches, big cliffs. Yeah.
So how did you spend your time there?
Just walking along beaches, along the top of cliffs, being battered by the wind. Did some rock pooling, kind of looking in, prodding in enemies.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What about other people?
One of my memories as a child going to the beach would be playing in the sand. So building sandcastles and digging holes and burying each other until you can just see your head left out at the top. Also on the beach, on lots of beaches, you've got donkey rides. Well, I don't really know why, because as an adult now you think it doesn't look fun at all, but as children you used to love riding the donkeys along the beach, and we used to love doing that when we were younger.
And what about your most recent experience?
About a month ago I went to Lyme Regis, which is on the Jurassic coast, which is again lots of sandy beaches, long strips of sandy beaches.
Did you find any fossils?
No, I was going to say it's renowned for fossils, but we didn't find it. I did actually look, but I didn't find any. But we just walked along the cliffs there, really nice views, and then we led on the sand and just read our books. It was a really nice day.
Fantastic. So good memories of the seaside as you were children and still going there.
Yes.
Some of my favourite memories from the seaside are visiting the piers. So I used to go with my grandma to Brighton Pier, and we used to play in the arcades, which would always be really fun. Other things that are nostalgic. Another one of my favourite things to do at the seaside is to eat all the traditional foods like fish and chips, and I always love having a 99er with a flake, which is a Mr. Whippy ice cream with a Cadbury's flake on top. My most recent memory of the seaside was only a few weeks ago. I went to Sandbanks, which is in Bournemouth. It's a very well-known beach in the UK. It was an extremely hot day, which means in the UK, every single person has the same idea. Everyone wants to go to the beach. So the traffic is always really bad and the cars are queued up in the car parks. But we still had a really fun day.
And what did you do?
We didn't do very much. We just lay in the sun, had a picnic on the beach, walked down the seafront.
So it sounds a nice relaxing day.
Yes, it really was.
In this episode, we've talked to Jane, who was staying at the seaside on holiday, and we've talked to a number of people about how they remember the seaside from their childhood and how they like going to the seaside now. Please go over to the website and read the magazine article, and you'll find some fantastic photos and articles about the British seaside. See you next time. This podcast is a Languages United project. Languages United is a British Council accredited language school teaching English in their school in Bath and online. Their lessons improve your English skills and your understanding of British culture. If you need to improve your English for a UK visa application, Languages United provides preparation courses for the UK VI approved English exams. Follow the link to the British Culture Club homepage in the show notes below to find out more.